Is Sanctifier en-Vec playable in Vintage? No, like seriously, I want to know. Not trying to clickbait this one. Like that's why I'm here. Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Vintage video. This one's on the house. No donor today. I saw a list from a challenge. I think I got third place that played a playset of Sanctifier en-Vec as well as Solitude, and I just said like, okay, I've gotta play this. I need to know. Is this some sort of meme deck list that just happened to do well, or is this a pile of cards I can actually play in Vintage? So we're going to be playing a Hatebears League today. And giving you a little context about where Vintage is at for those of you who aren't really following the format right now. Graveyard decks are really good right now. There's a decent amount of dredge, and there's a decent amount of various like Madness, Hogak style decks that really got a boost with Bazaar. So the idea is that Sanctifier en-Vec hates on both of these things. It's a 2-2 with protection from black and red. Ignore those parts. But when it ETBs, you exile all cards that are black or red from all graveyards, and if a black or red permanent, spell, or card not on the battlefield would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead. So while this isn't a rest in peace bear, Wizards still won't give us that. Wizards, please. It's the year 2021. Like, we're ready for it. It's fine. This might be close enough for Vintage. I don't think this is really a playable legacy card, at least not in the current metagame, and I'm not even gonna like test this card. I just feel pretty confident that like this doesn't do enough against the legacy decks that are using graveyards, and it's not fast enough in many cases. It doesn't have wide enough application, etc., etc., etc. But for the most broken graveyard stuff in Legacy, they are mostly black and red. This will miss out on some things like Vengevines, but otherwise will cover most of the bases. You know, from your Squeeze to your Krovikan Horrors to your Master of Deaths to your Hogaks, like it's going to do a lot of work. Supplementing the rest of the shell, we have the traditional Hatebear stuff. We have Archons, we have Relic Warders, Thalias, and Luminarch Aspirants, so that you have a fighting chance against, you know, constructs and such from shops and other Urza's Saga decks. And then the sideboard is just like super hateful stuff. Now, most of the time these decks play Rest in Peace, but since you have the Sanctifier en-Vec in the main deck, it's playing faster Graveyard Hate in the sideboard, so that like you can make it to turn 2 to play this sort of thing. The one thing that probably really looks weird here is Mindbreak Trap. I believe the idea is with this that like you're supposed to use this as a bridge to your 2-mana cards, and so this stops some of the like fastest possible Doomsday kills, for example. And then the other trap is also for Doomsday. So if your opponent makes their Doomsday pile, you just mill them out in response. Like once the pile has been made, and they don't get to take their sweet cards. So that's what's going on there. That's the game plan. Anyway, we're just going to jump right into the league here. As always, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing for sweet Modern Legacy and Vintage content 7 days a week. And if you are subscribed, throw me a like. It helps out a lot. All right, let's battle. Okay, my round 1 opening hand has no fast mana here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and mulligan this one, because I think I can end up with a similar power level hand on 6 most of the time. I keep in the Chalice on one hand against the unknown opponent. No other pressure. I do a Wasteland for something like a Bazaar or a Workshop. I'm not really in love with this hand. Goddamn. Starting the league off strong, huh? I mean, this is not where I want to be. I mean, I think at this point, I just have to keep. I think I pitch a Mox here. And keep a land, because then I have white-white, otherwise I don't have white-white. Just yikes, basically. I've put myself into a position where... Do I want to name Cleric? No, I think I still want to name Human. I've put myself into a situation where I can top deck a Hatebear and things can be okay, but like Luminarch Aspirant on its own is not going to win a game of Vintage. Luminarch Aspirant is the thing that closes games once you have a soft lock. Opponent has perfect information about my hand. They would have had that next turn anyway when I played my 1 card. Alright, we're potentially playing against PO here, although opening is a little bit ambiguous in that it could still just... Okay, now it's probably PO. All right, we have a lot of game 1 cards we can draw that are just very potent here off the top, and they will be uncounterable. But, you know. Hello? Thank you? I needed that? Like, holy shit, my hand is good now? I mean, like, opponent is doing stuff too. But this is probably good for me as a whole. We'll see. Stuff can still happen. On my turn, I have Emerald, Soul Ring, Thorn, plus Revoker on something of my choice. Ooh. Demo Tutor is scary. Represents it like a Tinker, a PO. I don't know if they just go for a counterspell given, you know, kind of what's happening currently. That, like, I have a Cavern. Oh, Lotus. Lotus is very good. Lotus represents possible PO right now. Alright, Windfall. Okay, my hand is still good. Alright, Mystical. Yawgmoth's Will. Okay. Okay, it appears like I will get a turn 2. Alright. Wasteland is pretty nutty, too. I mean, I haven't started talking about that, but that's just very strong. So let's Wasteland and hit this. Do I want to play this Mana Crypt? This is an Elemental Incarnation. I'm a couple turns away from just putting this into play. I'm not sure if I actually want to put this into play. Like, I'm pretty good on the mana front, but there's draws such as Mox Pearl that make me want to have this in play. I think I'm just going to jam Thalia here and not play Mana Crypt. Oh, wow, my opponent just conceded to Thalia. Ooh, the Bears. They're so hateful. Okay. How do I want to approach this? So, I know that I want Mindbreak Trap. I feel very confident about that. I know I don't really want Walking Ballistas and Solitudes. I would like to take these cards out of my deck if possible. Sanctifier en-Vec still has some fringe uses. It's not particularly strong. I'm not sure how I want to board from here. Like, I have a bunch of stuff that I don't want. Like, my game 1 cards, like Thalia and Revoker and Archon and Chalice, like, these are the things that are the heavy lifters in the matchup. Like, I can Serenity for my opponent's artifacts. A little weird. Like, Surgical has some use against things like Yawgmoth's Will, like I was seeing there. And I guess is sort of interesting with the number of draw 7 effects that my opponent might have. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have the required knowledge here. My boards look a little different than this usually. Let's go with 3 of these and 2 of these to round things out. And call that good. But I'm really not sure. Okay, like, can we talk about what my opening hands look like, Modo? That was rough. Honestly, this is still pretty bad. I think I'm gonna bin this one too. Why? Why can't I have a keepable Magic the Gathering hand? Go to 4. This is easily the best hand so far. I'm gonna keep this. Aspirant goes back. I need both lands. I guess Serenity and Archon goes back, and that gives me like Thalia plus Mindbreak Trap. See how that turns out. Opponent fetches for Underground Sea. Preordain. That's fine. Bottom, Ruby, LED. That's it. Mox. Eh. I guess I'll put this on human and pass. Upkeep Vamp Tutor. That's terrifying. Because if they just cast whatever spell they just tutored for in as their next spell, I can't actually exile it with Mindbreak Trap. Now Mindbreak Trap is live, so if they crack LED, like, it's go time for me. Oh, Lotus? Nope. Lotus? I will Mindbreak Trap it. Wheel of Fortune, crack LED in response. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. That is gross. Okay, I think we mulled to 4 both games and still won. We'll take that. Okay, round 2, and it looks like the deck would like to make up for my bad hands in round 1. So let's go Lotus into Cavern on Human. White and white. Make Thalia uncounterable. And let's flip Luminarch Aspirant into play. Honestly, let's put that on Thalia. I'm just going to strip mine whatever my opponent's first land is and hope that I spiral this game out of control. Oh, that's a good one to strip mine. Good stuff. Get it. I'm just going to continue to stack on Thalia here. So my opponent takes a Reality Smasher worth of damage. Good shit. Alright, Flooded Strand. I'm guessing my opponent is on a PO deck with Urza Saga, but I don't know for sure. Alright, I mean, Soul Ring's great. And to top. Sure. Alright, I get my own Soul Ring for 2 mana. Next turn I'll have an Archon, which is sick. And I can put a Walking Ballista into play for 1 here. I'm still gonna stick the counter on Thalia here, because now it gets outside of Lightning Bolt range in case my opponent is red. That puts my opponent to 9, which I believe means they are dead next turn. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, they are dead next turn. Okay, couple of mana to Brainstorm. That is probably not where you want to be, given this much pressure. Alright, Tolarian Academy is a good mana boost. Opponent was going to do something. This helps. They're paying costs for something, and having a little bit of trouble or redoing costs. Okay, Demonic Tutor, sure. What do they get? They're outside of Tinker mana, and they could have just tinkered already. It's turn 3? Yeah, okay. That's just a concession. Okay, so we're playing against what might be a PO deck, maybe. I think I'm going to be boarding in Mindbreak Traps and boarding Solitudes out. And then, like, what am I supposed to do with this last slot? I don't really know. Like, Surgical and Serenity both seem eh. I don't think I'm supposed to, like, Archive Trap my opponent. I guess I'm just gonna keep, like, a Solitude in the... Seems so bad. Whatever. I'll keep it in the deck. It can be an out to, you know, Sphinx or something that works its way into play. This hand has no fast mana. I don't think this is acceptable on the draw. This hand is weak, too. I don't want to keep this. This is 5. This is turn 1 Aspirant. And put Cavern on Cleric to hit both of these, I guess. Really not excited about this hand, though. Actually, do I keep that Painland over Caracas? That might be correct. Just really not digging this hand, though. The Pithing Needle, sure. That's not really gonna hit here. Land, makes sense. And Manifold Key, okay. Underground Sea. Alright, that's a lot of... Thank you, Solitude. Welcome to the party. A lot of mana. Alright, so let's go Cleric. And I don't have white this turn, so that just has to be this, unfortunately. We grab a +1/+1 counter on the way out of my turn. But opponent is free to do their thing right now. Oh. Great. I guess I'll go ahead and just crash in. And go for a cat post combat. It's my opponent to 17. And I'll Soul Ring and Uncounterable Cat. And this will just grab the Soul Ring. I think mana amount is more important than anything else here, potentially. Oh, they repeal it. That's solid. I mean, whatever. That's a repeal that's not taking my power out of play. At the end of the day, I am good with that. Soul Ring comes back. And another land. It's starting to feel like something big is going to happen. 5 mana. Oh, it's Urza. Oh my god, my Solitude is actually going to do something. Hot damn. Another Pithing Needle. Silent Clearing? Strip Mine. Sure. Okay. I think I just get the construct out of the way, and then I can swing in with 2/3/3s this turn. There's a world where I leave the construct around and I answer Urza instead. Oh shit, I can't actually cast this because this is on Cleric. I have one white source. Okay, so we do this a different way. So I guess I attack with Aspirant as a 4/4, and then play a post-combat 2/2 Walking Ballista and try to trade 2 things for that construct token. That makes sense to me. It'll make attacking through the Urza a little difficult, but I'll eventually draw something for the Solitude. Okay. So that goes there. Send that in. Alright. Block is successful. Now I will Walking Ballista for 2. Alright. Ping you. And ping you. Opponent floats 1 mana on the way out of the door. I respect it. Now this Urza can spin the wheel and do some scary stuff. It's randomized, but like, I need to respect what could happen here. Alright, so here Urza is just tapping the various artifacts for mana. They're spinning the wheel. Misty is not the sort of thing they're looking for. Thorn is not the sort of thing I am looking for. I want either a white card to get rid of Urza or a white source for Solitude, and this is neither of those. Alright, Thorn resolves, and I've just got to pass here. I guess Caracas is also an interesting draw. Alright, repeal my Thorn. That's fine, that's just cycling a card. Do I Mox Opal? I feel like I want Serenity versus this deck now that I've seen a little bit more. Alright, mana, untap, Soul Ring, retap Soul Ring. This will just be spinning the wheel with Urza again, I'm guessing. Oh, nope, it's PO. Okay. That is bad news for me. That is in fact bad enough news for me that I could have considered cracking Silent Clearing in response to try to draw a white card and Solitude Urza. But that is what it is. I just don't know that I get to like take myself off of my only true white source here by cracking the card with Solitude. Alright. Silent Clearing has now been named. Fine. This one's on Wasteland. Oh no, there's the Urza again. But wait, there's more. Alright, that's just a Legend Rule Mox Opal for 1 mana. Totally fine. Into Demonic Tutor, which one way or another probably is not fine. I don't know if that's this turn or next turn, but it's bad news for me. New Mox Opal. Like just a Time Walk, for example. Just a Time Walk is pretty devastating. Oh, Time Vault, Voltaic Key. Yeah, so Construct is the 1 mana for the key. And then do you have another mana source? Okay, they don't have another mana source, so there's at least a hope. Okay, I can stop the scariest of things from happening here. So I go Thorn, and that just makes it more likely that my Fire Extinction Revoker resolves. And then I play Revoker and name Time Vault. Oh no. This is the mana tax off Urza. And then my opponent just has infinite turns off Time Vault, Manifold Key. That's fine. Alright, now that I've seen what's going on here, I'll probably make some adjustments. Walking Ballista is kind of weak, and Sanctifier en-Vec is also kind of weak, so these are the cards that I'm going to be looking at taking out. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the Sanctifier en-Vecs, and then play some number of Solitudes and Serenities over them. Serenity is slow, I don't love it, but like, Walking Ballista is not the hero that I need either. In fact, is Palace Jailer even better? Palace Jailer might even be better than another one of those. Man, my hands are just like so wildly inconsistent. No. I just can't. I can't even consider. God damn it. Like, this is the worst. Am I supposed to keep this like weird double Serenity hand and hope that that gets there? I don't think so. As a 4-card hand, this is like these, or keep like waste, strip, and hope that that gets there. And my opponent has no artifact mana. Question mark, question mark, question mark. This was just an awful set of hands. All right. Now, go to 3 and try to turn 1 something. This is pretty close to turn 1ing something. I'll keep this. You go back. You go back. You go back. And you go back, and I'll go for turn 2 uncounterable Archon, and maybe that mises a game. But this means that like future white top decks are not live. But I think son of a bitch. Alright. Well, what you gonna do? Alright, Pearl. Crypt. Yeah, we'll just lose to constructs. Alright, opponent wins the mana crypt flip. And the construct storm will begin. Oh god. Alright. Honestly, you should have just kept the 4x, 3x wasteland hand against this. I'm gonna concede this one here. We're not gonna beat that pile of constructs with this hand. Okay, so I have the choice of keeping a slow hand on the draw, which is like very functional and full of reasonable cards, or I can mulligan this hand. And honestly, that's tough. I think I'm supposed to mulligan to a 6-card hand most of the time that I don't have an accelerant, and then this shit happens. Okay, so this is just worse than the first hand. Keep, pitch this, pitch the redundant copy of Thalia. Alright, Jet, Delta, Soul Ring, into Manifold Key. We're just doing the PO thing again. Alright, opponent is fetching. I'm just gonna get like tinkered on 1. Time Walk. Yep. No big deal. 3 mana Thoughtcast. Okay. Seat. Well, I think I'm boarding in Serenity this round. That untaps. Just pass. I think I just need to deploy cards. I don't think I can just like wasteland here. I don't think that makes sense. My opponent has so much mana already. I just need to get some stuff in play. 2 mana. Top. A. Spin and yield top. Only get to do that in Vintage now. Island. Alright. Tapping the top. Somewhat surprised we didn't just see like Manifold, the untap top, tap top again, net a card out of that. But it looks like opponent has other plans. 2, 3, 4. Alright, PO. Now we're gonna see all the artifacts come back down. Ring. 2 mana. Top comes back. E comes back. Emerald comes back. That's it. Alright. And the world isn't ending here. We're gonna name human with this. But would have been real nice to have this Thalia in play last turn rather than now. Spinning top in response. Drawing a card with top. Okay, and now we're seeing the Manifold Key trick. They untap top, they draw again. Build your own divination. Alright, fetch land. Pearl. Like, the power of my Thalia is just so dampened by my opponent getting out ahead of me because I couldn't get a Mox. Still a 1 mana Thoughtcast through Thalia, because Affinity is a strong mechanic. Alright, top comes back. Top gets activated. Archon would be one of my best rips, but I can't even cast it if I have it because it's unhuman. Okay. Let's assume that I need to attack mana at least a little bit here in order to make my Thalia feel stronger. Is it better to strip mine again? Probably not. I probably just need to start trying to close. Just don't think I can go like all in on mana denial with just a Thalia when my opponent has that much artifact mana. Okay, there we go. Always yield to this. And we'll send in Thalia. Oh no. Tapping Soul Ring. What does that even mean? Draw a card with that, sure. Why did you need extra mana? Gonna like PO your artifacts out right now. You're gonna repeal. Sure. Not much to be done. Up comes back. Alright, this game is not particularly exciting for me. I am on like my third game in a row of just mulliganing to 5 a billion times. Or worse. Usually worse. I just like am not playing Magic. I also can't F6 because I have Solitude in hand. Bonus daggers. My opponent has gone deep into the tank about something. I don't know what they're thinking about, because, you know, do the thing. It'll work. Okay. My opponent lost connection to the game somewhere in there. Okay, I think my opponent has made it back now. Tapping Soul Ring for Merchant Scroll. I just guess it gets a PO. Yeah. A little bit better than an Ancestral here. They tap top. In response, they can target it with PO and still get a card out of the top as well. Which is exactly what we see happen. Alright, I'm just gonna F6. The Solitude is not doing anything, let's be real. Mox. Oh, Tolarian Academy. This turn is going to be bonkers for my opponent in that case. Alright. I'm also just, like, not dead, right? There's nothing here that kills me yet. Oh, that does. That's just infinite turns. Okay. Alright. Well, that was miserable. Hope to draw a little better. Alright. Mindbreak Trap's in. Serenity's in. Solitude's out. And I guess some Sanctifier en-Vec's out. So I want to try to get cute and do like surgicals on PO or something. I don't really think so. I think this is fine. I'm really not loving how this sideboard is constructed. Like, I don't feel like I have enough cards for these blue decks, which is a problem because, you know, it's vintage and various Xerox style decks. And by that, I mean things held together by blue cantrips are just everywhere. Okay. So just a Chalice on 0 on turn 1 with Aspirant, and then turn 2 I have a Relic Warder. This is fine, I guess. Not the world's greatest hand, but it's better than mulliganing. The nice thing here is that I have Pearl specifically, which means I have access to white in the future. Emerald. Pearl. I want a Silent Clearing this turn, just so I can cycle it next turn. I don't think so. Go Plains. Chalice on 0. Aspirant. Aspirant becomes a 2/2, and we pass. Now I have to like sandbag this Relic Order to eat a Construct token. Oh, that's an insane fucking draw. That's everything I wanted. Damn. I mean, we got a PO for it. That's not nothing. This Aspirant will just hit like a truck. One's at 16. But like we gain damage each turn. Alright, Island. Brainstorm. Yep. Okay. I mean, that makes it pretty likely that Construct token isn't going to happen this turn. That's actually pretty good for me. But Urza's Saga, when it goes off next turn, can grab a Lotus or something, so there's always that to keep in mind. Not the best draw. I think I go ahead and cycle this here. I pick up a Cavern, which I'm not sure if I'm supposed to play. I hit for 4 this turn, which puts my opponent to 12. And then next turn, I can hit for 5, which puts them to 7, and then play Relic Warder next turn. Like, I want to get value out of this card, whether it... No, I guess not a Construct. If possible, I want to get value out of this card. I will make my land drop, though. Possible I am supposed to sandbag that. But because of the presence of Wasteland and Strip Mine, I do want to be able to play this uncounterably next turn and waste if necessary. Alright, so here's the Urza Saga doing its thing. I see this getting Lotus or Soul Ring, but stranger things have happened. Manifold Key. Okay. Sure. The Time Vault. And 1 mana to untap it. Man, that's really disappointing. That's just really disappointing. Alright. I am dead. Okay, I have kept a reasonable opening hand. It doesn't have a Hatebear on turn 1, but I have turn 2 Archon of Emeria. I just think I have to keep a hand that looks like this. My mulligans have been just absolutely devastatingly bad, so I think here we are. Alright, Sapphire, Plains, Aspirant. Comes a 2-2. Alright, C, Sapphire. We're just playing against the same general pile again. Night's Whisper, which is probably like Doomsday or Storm, in which case resolving Archon is sick. I think I just jam that here. Just into a counterspell rather than Wasteland. Go for it. Okay, looks like they do have the Force of Will. That's fine. Like, I get another counter on this and hit for 3. Mystic Remora. And many moons since I've seen Mystic Remora in play. Alright, Demonic Tutor, Tundra, Ancestral, Ruby, Pearl. Alright, that's a lot of Moxen. Also Moxen in all of the colors they showed me, so I can't wasteland them off a color. I think I hit in first before doing anything else. In comes Aspirant for 4. Alright, that puts my opponent to 10. We'll go Silent, Clearing, and Archon. Could be pretty damn good. Alright, it has resolved, which is great. And then I'll take my opponent off a black source. They are some sort of Doomsday deck. Then I don't want them to have black, black, black without like a Dark Ritual. The old tapped fetch land feels good. Into balance. What the fuck? Sacrifice all creatures you control. Yep. Grrr. I guess I just Relic Order a mana source out. Ballista isn't exactly a great play. But that's super disappointing. Guess I'll take the Jet, continuing under the assumption that it's possible that my opponent is Doomsday. They could just straight up be a control deck. Alright, fetching to 9. 3 mana, Yawgmoth's Will. Oh, great. Okay. Well, that's bad, because it starts with Recall and gets worse from there. The Opal. My opponent could just balance again. So it's unclear whether that would actually be good. One has Opposition Agent. So, not really sure what they're playing then. I'm not current enough with deck lists, but it feels like this is closer to the control side of the spectrum than the combo side. I don't know, like, it is still Yawgmoth's Will, right? I expect to die one way or another next turn. I will play as if that isn't the case, but I don't like my odds. Make my cat cleric big. Oh, and just click through my attack. Cool. I honestly don't think it matters, though. I think I am very dead here. Like, whether it's Tinker or PO or anything else. Yep. Artifacts go down, artifacts go up. Artifacts go down, artifacts go up. Alright. So, seems like this one is sort of an Esper PO build. That's a lot of mana. Fairy, sure. Okay. Black Cat. Merchant Scroll, that gets another PO. Yup. Still nothing here that kills me, though, so I can't really concede. Alright. Pearl. Oh, okay. That kills me. I can concede to that. Okay. Mindbreak Trap in. Serenities in. Sanctifier en-Vec, I suppose, out. Rim of Solitude. I'll bring in a Palace Jailer over, I guess, a Walking Ballista, and call this good. Yeah, this is our third PO round of some kind in a row, and this deck does not feel good against PO. And normally, like, PO is the sort of deck you want to be playing against Hatebears, but by adding in all the ridiculous graveyard hate, it just made it so that you can't do anything against a normal deck. Fine. Can't cast this Serenity. Double Revoker, which is, I think, medium minus. I don't think this hand's good enough. This hand doesn't have white mana. Cool. This is the best of the hands so far. I'll keep this. I guess I'm tossing this back because I'm planning on nuking a bunch of artifacts with Serenity. But, like, I would really like to just lead on a Hatebear rather than an Aspirant. Like, I love Aspirant. The card is quite good in Vintage, but you play the Hatebears deck to, you know, play the Hatebears. Um, I just I just don't think this deck's mana base and threat base work together. I don't think I have ever mulliganed this many hands in a Vintage League before. Alright. I am getting a little moto lag. Okay, there is a Ruby. Sure. Just gonna blow up the Underground Sea. I'm not gonna show the Serenity yet. Like, I know I can get rid of that Ruby, but that's not really what I'm here for. Alright, send an Aspirant. Bonus at 17. Delta. Fetch. Please grab a non-basic. Rats. Ponder. And Ponder shuffles. Okay, Thalia is legitimately quite good. Let's flip that into play. And it is getting forced. Pitching PO, though. That is a win in its own regard. And the 4/4 Aspirant can crash in. 2 mana for repeal on the Mox. Just kind of cycle it, draw a card. Into top. Mox. Activate top. Sure. And opponent is stuck on mana. News for me. The point where I just jam Serenity. This is probably the point where I just jam Serenity. Alright. You get bigger. For 5. Aspirant is just lethal next turn. That's great. And I guess I'll just jam. Alright, Flooded Strand. And passing. Alright, they're looking with top in the end step, which seems like kind of a backwards time to do that to me. But that's fine. Load a mana with this. So, do I want to wasteland this fetch in response? Very possible I do. It's also very possible it's quite bad to do so. If like the top card is a Source of Plowshares, for example, I very much want to wasteland this right here. I lock myself out of casting something like an Archon this turn. If I do that, I'm not going to do it. Okay. And do you have a removal spell? Alright, they do. Try to take out this Tundra here. It succeeds. We'll go up to 25. Play Wasteland. Not going to play the Mox in case I just like draw another Serenity. Opponent doesn't have a play. Now I suppose I play this. And Thalia. Alright. Good stuff. Alright. Opponent will be able to play something like a top next turn. I don't need to play that card currently. Gonna crash in for approximately half of my opponent's life total, and I'll leave up Caracas Bounce. Protect my threat. I'm gonna cycle Silent Clearing right now, because I can draw Aspirant, and then it's lethal this turn. Not lethal this turn. Shuts off Fetching, which will also shut off Force of Willing. Opponent's at 1. Soul Ring. Metalcraft is on. Time Walk is very good. Balance. I mean, I'll bounce the Thalia back to my hand. Junk my Wasteland here. Both had 3 cards, so no discarding. Oh shit, I clicked on that wrong. Oh my god. I'm gonna lose the game too, clicking on that wrong. That's so frustrating. Yep. This is me losing the game to misclicking on balance. That's frustrating. It is what it is. I also need to reboot Moto. I'm getting some lag. Alright, Jet. And we're gonna see a handful of other artifacts come down as well. Soul Ring, Opal. And read them in the chat before I see them on screen. Alright, opponent did not successfully combo off, but see. I just assume, well, no, this can't be Force of Willed because they're at 1. Okay. 5 mana, Karn. That sure just wins the game. Also shuts off my Walking Ballista out. I mean, I'll make my opponent show me a Lattice, but I lose to it. No. Like they either don't have Lattice or don't have mana. Yep. Alright, my opponent has 7 cards. I'm just going to concede here. I punted this one. Okay, I am on the draw with a pretty good turn 1 hand. I will go ahead and keep this. Honestly, this is probably the best hand I've had in the entire league. Well, assuming we're playing against a blue deck. God damn it. Okay, cool. I mean, at least I have a Wasteland, but I might not cast any spells this game. I guess I just counter this because my mental misstep is probably not doing much else here. Alright. Cool. I think I just concede here. Like, I can Wasteland the Bazaar, but I just get killed in 3 turns by this, and my hand is not capable of stopping that in any way. Alright, going to the sideboard, I want Rab Trap, Tabernacle, Surgicals. I probably don't want Mental Misstep, and then I actually have to do a little bit of thinking. I think Thorn and Chalice can probably go. Then maybe Revoker? Revoker seems like a bit of a weak link. Try this. Oh, Palace Jailer maybe should have come in. It's a touch slow here. Surgical with triple Solitude. But the rest of the hand is just doo-doo. I don't think so. Well, Sanctifier en-Vec is supposed to be good against this deck, right? I guess I keep. And I throw back Walking Ballista. If 1/1s get into play in the first turn cycle, that's not that big of a deal. Like, I can clear them out with this stuff. Planes go. How nutty is your Bazaar turn? I think I'm okay as long as it's not hollow ones. We double Rootwalla. Yeah, like this is fine. That's what I didn't want to see. God damn it. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna die to that. Alright, I'll put this on human. It nukes a squee and makes my opponent's graveyard shenanigans considerably worse. But I'm just dead to the power that's in play, like, very handily. Yep. Double Aspirant? Double Aspirant is interesting. A lot of power. First Aspirant. Second Aspirant. Guess I stack up here, so that next turn I can put 1 counter on that, and it'll be a 5/5 to deal with this stuff. And we get a Bazaar activation. Really? Really? Okay. Cool. Alright, I want Jailer in. And then, do I want to play Serenity specifically for hollow ones because I have such a bad time against them? Maybe. Like, that doesn't feel good to me. Like, the Relic Order is at least a body. Walking Ballista pings off the small idiots that come into play. More important to answer the hollow ones that actually kill me, maybe. Be going down like 2 of these. And I could like trim a Thalia. 2 Thalias. Maybe trim 2 Thalias. That leaves me with 23 creatures. Okay. This is good. I will keep this. Like, I have a piece of Graveyard Hate. I have a turn 1 Archon. I have a turn 2 Palace Jailer. Opponent Serum Visions away a first hand. Then keeps on 6. Alright. There's Bazaar. That's a hollow one. That's fine. The second hollow one is a little scary. I guess let's take out the squee. Alright, Bazaar and Wasteland. I need to take a screenshot of this, assuming that I don't just die in 2 or 3 turns. What's going on here? Okay, what's interesting that my opponent has? Oh, Furies. Oh, geez, 4? Okay. So that's the Pyrokinesis for exiling a red card. Alright. Let's go Mana Crypt, then play Plains and Archon. I don't want to play... I should turn off auto yields. I don't want to play the Cavern because I know my opponent has Wasteland at this time. Okay, now they don't. Yeah, I take 8. Not much to be done about that. Alright, Mana Crypt, I need you to be good to me. Holy shit, Serenity. Serenity's actually pretty good. It blows up my Mana Crypt. Is that my line? Just Serenity, chump block with Archon. Try not to die to the Mana Crypt flip. And then, like, play Athalia afterwards the following turn. Seems fine to me. I only get one spell a turn because of this. Alright, go for it. I almost certainly win if I don't die to my Mana Crypt flip. I mean, it's a big if, though. Tails. Oh, thank God I won the flip. Goodbye, Hollow Ones. Okay. Is this better than Thalia? I'm not sure. Like, I basically care about the 2 Hollow Ones that are remaining in the deck. My opponent... Actually, because of things like Noxious Revival, I should probably play Thalia. Okay. Alright, here's a Bizarre activation. Master of Death, Force of Negation. And then... Okay, so my opponent can pay life to return that to their hand. That's fine. I can't stop that with Surgical anyway right now. Alright, multiple Rootwalla effects. Which is not scary until my opponent has mana, and they don't have all that much actual mana-producing cards in their deck. There's a couple of Petrified Fields and 2 Gaia's Cradles. Yeah, I'm not actually all that worried about this. Alright, another Bizarre activation. Okay, thank God. Like, they played enough of those so that Vengevine did not trigger at the appropriate time. Alright. Now I will Sanctifier en-Vec. And that nukes the Master of Deaths from the graveyard. Now I do have Solitude up for if my opponent like plays a land and then goes for an all-in attack of some kind. Got 2 Gaia's Cradles. That are probably their best draws. Alright, going Bizarring. And there go Noxious Revivals. I guess they're just trying to... Yeah, that's fine. Alright. We're hanging out. Do I Wasteland? Wastelanding makes it harder for them to Madness additional Blazing Root Wallows. So I think the answer is yes. Like, Palace Jailer will be very good when I do it. But I also might just need to keep that as an oh shit button. Alright, just another Bizarre. Quote-unquote just. Luminarch Aspirant. I do not mind additional bodies. I think the Thalia needs First Strike. Or if my opponent draws Gaia's Cradle. Because these will have 3 toughness. Alright. Working towards Palace Jailer. Next up, I think Luminarch Aspirant starts buffing itself. Alright, here we go. There's a Basking Rootwalla. That gets cast. Then a Hollow one. So I probably need to Surgical these Vengevines right here. That costs me... Okay, so... Vengevine costs me 2 life and a mana. Chunk 1, 2, 3. Let's take an updated library pick. There aren't very many cards remaining now. Okay. So those are gone. I am at 1. Is a little inconvenient since my opponent has 5 creatures. Alright, they are just gonna pass. Okay. So this is good. So this will go on, I think human again. Actually, maybe elemental. No, I don't want to telegraph that. We'll go on human again. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Uncounterable Palace Jailer. Exile the 4/4. That's their biggest creature. And... Okay. So basically things need to be 3/3s. You can live against Blazing Root Wallow no matter what. Maybe put this here. And drawing a white card here would be ideal. Bizarre activation. Alright. So that's Serum Powder and Wasteland gone from this pile of cards remaining in their deck. And I think I literally start doing all of them, just marking them off. Okay. I have perhaps weathered the storm. I don't get to cast that this game, in all likelihood. Alright. Caracas. Hard cast this. I guess I said Flash, I didn't need to do this now, but there's, like, Force of Will. Okay. That was a hell of a game. I'm at least happy we ended on a bit more interesting of a game than what we've had the last couple of rounds. Alright, overall thoughts on the deck list? Bad. I really love playing these sorts of decks in Vintage, but I think this one has a lot of problems. Let's walk through them. So, problem number 1. This deck has 10 cards with white pips, 7 of which you would really like to play early in a game because they're very important for either the graveyard-based matchups or the artifact-based matchups. And the mana base has a bunch of colorless lands, like Wasteland and Strip Mine, and then a bunch of your mana sources here aren't always white. So you can have you can have a lot of hands that have the correct amount of mana, but just the wrong colors, and then they just become auto mulligans. So that's issue 1. Issue 2 is that these decks used to be pre-boarded against blue decks very heavily, because you have a bunch of things like Spirit of the Labyrinth as an additional 2-drop Hatebears, and now that you're trying to fit in these Solitudes, the Walking Ballistas, and the Sanctifier en-Vecs, you end up with a lot of hands that are just absolute shit against Xerox or PO or whatever blue deck you're facing. And I think that's a very bad place for these decks to be. So like I just don't like this build at all. I feel like the combination of the mana being bad and you just having a lot of cards in game 1 that are kind of bad against blue decks just puts you in a terrible position in the format. As far as the sideboard goes, I again didn't really feel like we had enough cards for the blue decks. Normally these Hatebear decks are really good against blue, but like I just wanted more cards than what I had access to. Like maybe I could have sideboarded in Serenity a little bit more aggressively, but that just didn't feel great because I'm really reliant on my artifact mana. And I don't think I've ever mulliganed as many times in Vintage as I did in this league. It was just brutal. I am glad I played this deck. I gained important information. I can squirrel it away for the future, but I will not be picking this one up again. Regardless of that, I hope you enjoyed. The last match in particular was a real treat. Nail biter. If you did enjoy, please click the like button. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. Have a great rest of the day.